You start this.
Lead the way.
Welcome to my podcast, the Hook and Arrow podcast, as well as my buddies over here, the Stormwater Creek podcast.
What's up, guys?
And I will just say that they are a lot more consistent with their content than me. And so if y'all want to hear some podcasts, go subscribe to them because y'all are way more consistent than me.
We try.
But if you want to hear a good podcast, go subscribe to the Hook and Arrow podcast.
If you just want content, we're your guys.
Exactly.
If you want quality, we ain't your guys.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to hear a fart once a week, come talk to us. And if you want to hear something about something, you go talk to Hook and Arrow.
All right, so we got the introduction out of the way. So let's hear your game warden notes.
Yeah, so Texas Parks and Wildlife Weekly Digest. I've got two in here that I think are pretty funny. One, we are sitting at Tailwater, so got to tell a boat story, right? So on April 28th, at Valverde Game Warden responded to a boat distress call on Lake Amistad. A somewhat novice boat operator. I like how they put that. A somewhat novice boat operator.
They just want to say idiot.
A
dumbass. Idiot.
With his new boat and family on board, ran aground after dark on the lake. According to the story, the boat operator, while on full plane, noticed he was running in very shallow water. Thinking that he was going over a small island, he gunned the throttle even more to make it over the supposed island. The boat eventually ran out of water, onto the bank. Thankfully, no injuries occurred. So that one was a good one. And then there's a couple other ones in here, but the other one I thought, which kind of makes me mad, but it was all right. A Tyler County game warden got a tip about 2 deer that were potentially poached out of season. The warden patrolled to the area of the violation, and with the assistance of Tyler County Sheriff's Office, contacted a known drug violator at his residence. It's always a good place to start, right?
Yeah.
Immediately upon contact, they caught a strong odor of rotting meat coming from an ice chest in the backyard. After numerous knocks on the door, the officer got the subject to come outside and ask about the contents of the ice chest. The subject admitted he and his roommate shot 2 deer, and he had forgot about part of the meat in the ice chest. The subjects later showed the game warden where they had shot the deer. Charges were filed, and the case is still under investigation for possible hunting without landowner consent. So, trespassing and poaching. Tyler, baby.
Then what are they called? What's the term for when they've got to pay whatever the state
Restitution.
Restitution. That's the word I'm looking for.
What do you guys, when they say drug violator, do you think this is like these couple dudes smoking
Tyler
weed?
County?
Or
he's straight cooking meth. God, Tyler County, you kidding? Yeah. He's cooking shitty meth, not the blue shit.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely cooking bathtub.
I mean, he forgot about meat in a cooler, but they could smell it from the front porch. But he forgot about it. What?
Yeah, he's cooking meth.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Me and my cousin were talking about meth a couple of days ago. One of our relatives is pretty deep into meth, I guess. And I was just thinking, like, what's going on in your life that you think it's a good idea to try meth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
with all that we know now.
Yeah, it's like, someone offers you some meth and you're sitting there thinking in your head,
I've never done meth.
I mean, after watching Breaking Bad, the only acceptable response is I'm trying to look more like a zombie. So that's why I'm doing it.
I guess. Maybe they just had some teeth that they needed removed but didn't want to go to the dentist.
Yeah, do it the hard way.
Yeah, so they just thought, well, I'll just start doing meth and all my teeth will fall out.
Yeah.
I won't have to worry about brushing them.
Skin sores.
Yeah, exactly. Open skin sores on my face.
Yeah. Can I cover this whole area with herpes?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
I'd like my body to look like a herpy.
Yeah.
Oh, so good times on meth.
Well, yeah, good times on meth.
And welcome to the Stormwater Creek
And welcome
podcast.
to the Stormwater Creek podcast. This is our typical intro. So, meth. But we are at Tailwaters, like mentioned before. We have Sean Polk and Jeff Bynum. And it's Jeff's going away party. You're moving away from Texas to Idaho, huh?
Yeah. Getting out of the heat and
moving to the cold.
72 degrees in Sandpoint
That's
today.
miserable.
Man.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Fresh, clean water, public land everywhere.
I'm sorry.
It's a struggle.
Well,
it's okay.
Call us in January and tell us what it's like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll call you from my snowmobile.
As it's
or the
72 degrees here.
Yeah. Oh, I grew up out in the snow though, so I mean,
Yeah.
I would almost choose winter over summer. Fall's my favorite time of year, obviously.
Yeah.
But winter time, we get like 2 feet of snow a year there.
Oh, that's
2
not
years
bad.
ago they had, I think it was 4 feet. So that'd be a little intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe do some ice fishing. We live at the base of a ski hill, so we'll be skiing, snowboarding, snowmobiles, all kinds of good
Pretty
fun.
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Something I'll say about Jeff. I've only known him like 2 years, so I'm not real sure if I like him yet or not.
Shut the hell up.
Jerry's
But I will say he's probably the first Yankee that's ever moved down here that I'm kind of sad he's leaving.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you know when I'll be back. As soon as you start getting trail camera pics again,
Yeah.
some good bucks, I'm coming
like,
back.
You got any deer I could shoot?
Yeah.
Maybe. Come on.
I have perfected the ask. Like
Yeah.
that is one of
You
my
and,
my God-given
Mark
gifts.
Kenyon.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you to come hunting
Emissions.
first, but then you started seeing these trail cam pics, and you were like, "What about this one?
Yeah.
Can I shoot that one if it walks in?" I was
It
like,
it took
okay.
about a month of buttering you up, but you finally let me shoot your biggest buck on your property.
Yeah.
Well, that's a damn good friend. You know?
I think he's thinking of the future though, because he keeps dropping these Idaho hints. And
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Okay,
like-
where's your bear site? You know, the bait site going to be, and so we've got some
Absolutely.
bartering to do here. But I will say, cheers to JT. He put me up on his place, and I killed my biggest archery buck.
There you go.
It was a stud right off his property. So
I can't believe you already got the mount back. By the way, you sent me pictures.
Yeah.
That's quick.
yeah, they were really quick. So
I just took my elk to the taxidermist.
It's been sitting in your freezer.
Well, I had him caped and just had the antlers skull capped.
Oh yeah.
And the antlers were just sitting in the garage, and the cape was in the freezer. So I finally took it down there about 3 weeks ago. I'm not looking forward to that bill at all.
You have a big moose too, don't you?
Yeah, the moose is done. He's hanging up. I took my elk and my antelope down there.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that'll do it.
yeah, I'm not excited about that bill at all. And I'm getting a pedestal too, so that's going to probably
Oh,
add
yeah.
$500 to it.
Yeah.
But
That's a lot.
yeah, I will tell you, I'm doing the smart thing on my elk though. So I'm having them mount it to where both antlers come off. So basically, they put a piece of square tubing down in the
pedicle
the
or whatever.
form,
Yeah.
where the heads go
Okay,
or
yeah.
where the horns go, and then they put a smaller piece of square tubing in the antler, and it just goes down in there.
Are you having him officially scored before you do that?
No,
Okay.
I don't care.
He's officially just big as hell.
No, he's a stud.
No,
I went
I-
out there and I just held on to him for like an hour, asked for a moment of like just me and the horns.
Can I get some
yeah.
me time?
We
They were all
dimmed the
sticky. They were all
lights.
sticky when I got them back.
Gross. Yeah.
No, but so I'm gonna have it where the horns come off. That way, if I ever happen to kill a bigger bull, I can just put those horns on
Rip and
that bull.
replace.
Or hey, say I kill a bull that's got like a giant left side or a right,
Yeah.
bigger right side than my bull. I'll just mix and match.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
Oh, the individual.
yeah.
So I've always wanted to know, like on an elk mount, how low on the wall do you have to mount the head to get the antlers to fit in your? I mean, depending on the size of your roof, obviously, but just
I don't
like
know.
a
That's
regular,
why I'm getting a pedestal.
Yeah, that's
So
a good
mine's
idea.
gonna sit on the ground.
Yeah,
His moose, like he's got tall ceilings at his house,
Yeah.
and you walk in, and you're like, oh shit,
That's big.
like that's no joke. His moose is right there.
Yeah,
Kind of in your face.
I can barely walk under my moose without his chin hitting me in the head.
Yeah.
Got to go to an event at Jack Brittingham's house,
Okay.
if you're familiar with him. And above his fireplace were 6 elk
Oh my God.
stacked on top of each other.
That's a large fireplace.
That's a large.
Yeah,
fire.
Yes. So it was like
40
6
feet.
mounts kind of alternating all the way up to the top of the ceiling.
Holy smokes.
And then I looked around and counted muleys and whitetails, 42
God,
in that one room alone.
that's trophy room right there.
Yeah, that's
Well, it was a trophy house.
Trophy house.
As you
I
go
guess that's
through
probably
it.
a better way
wow.
to say that.
But I've always been impressed by the fact that he had like 6 shoulder-mounted elk above the fireplace.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's hashtag goals,
Yeah.
right?
I guess.
What do I have to do to get there?
Kill an elk.
That's true.
You gotta start. You gotta start at one.
Yeah,
Start small.
you gotta go elk
I'll
hunting.
take a raghorn at this point. Yeah,
No
it's true.
joke.
If I can stop going to Europe, that's where. That's
First world problems.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible problems. But I did get to go to a hunting museum there, which is kind
And
of
you
cool.
ran into another BHA member.
I did.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tell that story.
So we're at the American Cemetery in Omaha Beach, and just walking. I've got my public landowner shirt on. I'm repping hardcore BHA gear the entire time over there.
So badass.
I was in London, and a guy's like, I'm wearing the shirt, and the guy's like, what is public landowner? And I'm like, oh, in America,
It's
when we
funny
threw
you
y'all's
mention
ass
It's a middle finger
yeah.
to Europe.
we basically allowed our people, like myself, to keep the land. And he was like, oh, okay. And I just walked off. He was the most unimpressed. I mean, like a
He didn't
dog.
understand.
No, he was just like, what? And I was like, yeah, we have land that the public owns. And he was like, huh? Oh, all right. I was like, later, man. And I just walked off. I was
Enjoy
like,
oppression.
yeah, yeah. Good luck. But yeah, we're just walking in the American Cemetery, and I've got public landowner shirt on. I look up, and there's a dude walking at me with a public landowner shirt on.
That's
I'm just like, what?
Where was he from?
He was from Colorado, I believe. Yeah.
How long did you guys hug?
We sat and talked. We were just like, oh my god, what are the odds of us wearing the same shirt in France at the American Cemetery?
Yeah.
I thought you were in London. London's not in France.
I was in London. I was in France, and I get to see your underpants.
There you go.
You see what I did
Waiting
there?
for it.
Yeah.
God, we're 12.
But yeah, it was really cool. It was very, very interesting to get to see that place firsthand, and just really a neat experience all in all. But yeah, he was in the service too, which was kind of cool. And he was just jet setting all over Europe. He was like, I'm here for like 15 minutes, and then I'm headed over to I'm going to get a train to go to Germany with some friends, and he'd been in Amsterdam for a little while, so he was getting to see all the things.
You know, BHA should do a video, like the national chapter of
Yeah.
BHA should do like a YouTube video where they go to like Europe or somewhere and just go interview people and ask them what their thoughts are about the fact that we have public land in America. I think it would be interesting to see what those people had to say on it, like how confused they would be
Yeah.
that we have this land that we can go hike
Yeah.
and fish and hunt.
Well, I will say that they've got like right outside of Paris, they have a lot of like parks, and they're there's a lot of nature preserves and things like that, but they're not open. Like, I mean, you could go into them, but there's no hunting really. I mean, you've got to go in certain areas to like, down south. But the thing is like when we went up to Normandy, you leave Paris, and I mean, you might as well be in the Midwest. Those people are like, fuck Paris. This place sucks. I mean, like the guy, we stopped at a cider.
We agree.
Yeah, they were like, we stopped at a cider place that was right next to the German cemetery, and these guys have been making apple cider, like champagne, and I don't. I can figure that out, but
we import a bunch of cider from over there.
it was this guy was a giant hunter. He was all about public land. He was going to Wyoming, had been to Yellowstone a bunch,
Oh, that's
been
badass.
to Yosemite, and he was like, man, I can't wait to go back. He had never been. I guess he had been to Yosemite, but he'd never been to Wyoming or Montana, one of those two, and he wanted to go there really badly. And but he was like, Paris is shit. Like, it's awful. So as soon as you leave Paris, people were like, France is all right. But I mean, they love it, obviously, just like we love any place, but they're not, like in Paris, America was like non-existent. When you go to Omaha Beach or Utah Beach, up in Normandy, there's American flags almost more than there are French flags, which is kind of cool.
It's kind of like when you go west of Fort Worth. Fuck Dallas.
Exactly. Exactly. The old DFW rivalry.
Last time I was over there was, I think, 2004.
Yeah.
And Bush was banging the war drum, and all the French people were just cursing the U.S.
Yeah.
How was it? I mean, were people pissed at the U.S. over there? Or?
No, I mean, it just didn't come across it very often. I mean,
Yeah.
it just wasn't. People were super nice. Most of them spoke English. I speak just enough French to be able to be like,
Where to take a shit?
do you know how? Yeah, exactly. How do you speak English? Like I could say that.
Let's hear it.
Parlez-vous anglais? There you go. But it was a lot of fun, man. I had a blast, and it was it was really kind of a neat experience to go over there for 2 weeks, and we were with my aunt, so we were kind of like embedded. We weren't in a hotel. We were at their apartment that they lived there for, and it was a neat experience for sure. So, Jeff. Less me, more you.
Sure, man.
So, I guess, when was the first time that I met you? I guess I'd reached out to you to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, pre-full draw.
Yeah, I remember
a year or so ago.
I remember, like, this guy calling and was just begging, can we please get involved? What can we do? What can we do?
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this weirdo? And it was just a few months later. I was like, oh, I think this guy could be my replacement. I found a sucker.
you found somebody. Yeah. I looked around the room and I couldn't find the sucker.
Yeah.
And it was me. So.
No, it was it was pre-full draw.
Pre-full draw.
You guys wanted to get
Podcast
involved
here. Yeah.
as much as possible, and we're like, okay, yeah, sure. And we didn't realize how cool of a relationship it was going to turn into. I mean, Stormwater Creek, all you guys have been badass for BHA here in Texas, and huge support. And
Thank you.
And it's not just like a flash in the pan either. Like, you guys are in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're invested.
Yeah. Yeah, you're stuck now. You've taken over my role on the board, so
Exactly.
you're stuck.
Yeah, I know. I got back from Paris and Panassi was like, we got a lot of work to do. I was like, awesome.
You guys have been kicking ass this year, though. Like I've
been a good year.
I've been packing and kind of backing out of all my responsibilities over the last couple months, and I see these email chains coming through. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are getting some stuff done.
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, we got a big newsletter coming out shortly. Thanks to Todd for that. And
he did a great job right now.
It's so good.
It's probably the best piece that I've seen come out in a while.
Absolutely.
So.
Lots of cool events. We did EarthX. Sean was part of that.
Yep.
That was kind of a neat
So was
experience.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff was there. Yeah.
Yep.
We went up to an ASA shoot with JT.
Yeah.
EarthX was weird.
Yeah, I don't know if-
Okay,
Yeah.
EarthX was weird.
EarthX was super
It was
weird.
weird. It was
I
fun.
had a Wales War guy, whatever, come by and like talk to me for like 45 minutes, and he literally was teared up crying because it was the big national gun walkout day or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Isn't it just such an amazing thing what all these students are doing? They're going to change the world." I'm like,
No, they're children.
"Dude,
When
you're
did we
barking
get-
up the wrong tree. Like these kids can't even vote. Like
Yeah.
they're going to go play Fortnite after this and
Yeah,
and try
exactly.
to figure out their problems."
They're going to go play Fortnite and shoot people
Yeah.
What
on
is
their
Fortnite?
TV.
I keep hearing
It's just
about
like
it.
a video game.
Yeah, it's whatever.
My nephews were like
Like
playing it the
like
other night.
Shooting video games?
Yeah, just like
I mean, I'm into
It's-
that. Don't get me
it's-
wrong.
I
I just
think-
don't
I-
know
I
about it.
I think there's like an island that gets smaller, and you
Yeah.
got to survive, and the last person is like
that's
100
good.
people around the world play.
It's a 100-person free for all, from what I've gathered. They
Yeah.
Yeah,
drop
that's
you
kind of
on
what
an
I've been
island.
told.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a nightmare.
Sounds like exactly how you should record a bunch of 6-year-olds just saying bad words into a microphone.
Dude, that was always the best part of
Oh.
playing Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Is when the little
Absolutely.
kid would just tear into
Yeah.
your ass, saying cuss words you've
like-
never heard, and you're like,
I'm not even
7!
mad. I'm just amazed. This
What
is
are you
great.
saying? You kiss your mother with that mouth? Don't you have to go to school tomorrow?
That doesn't even make sense. Okay.
I think after our ASA shoot, I won't be asked to sell merch anymore. I sold absolutely 0 items, and then they came up there and sold like $600 worth of
Yeah.
stuff.
It was-
sold some merch.
We like selling merch. That's a lot of fun. That was a fun. I think the reason we sold so much merch is because it was
Cold as shit.
cold as hell. I mean, people were dying. I'm just like watching like carts of people being wheeled out to go, and I'm like,
Why don't you talk about our trip down there?
we got up like so.
I'm still mad at Jordan.
Oh Jesus! So we were like, okay, we need to be there at like 7. So,
No. That's not how it went.
but it was like we need to meet at 5 in the morning.
No, that's not how it went. Who usually coordinates what time and who organizes this?
Me or you?
Yeah. I was coming back in town from work or something. I said, I don't know shit about what's going on. What
When
time
do we need to meet?
What time do we need to leave? And Jordan chimes in our group thread. 5. All right.
In defense of Jordan, he did put a question mark, but it
I
was
don't
kind of like a
care. I don't
weird.
care.
It was just a very weird. He was like 5.
He said 5, and I said,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I didn't know any better. Let's roll. So then I get to Abe's house, and Jordan's there, and we get loaded up, and we get rolling. I said, so we have to be set up by 6:30 or something? And Abe's like, no, like 8. I said, Are you shitting me? Like, we're going to be in Paris at 6:30 in the morning. And Jordan's like, I said, why are we leaving at 5? And Jordan said, I mean, I just threw out a number.
I just threw out a number, and at that
was his
point we were
argument
just
the whole
like,
time. He
Jesus.
goes, I mean, I didn't know. He goes, my default time to leave for things is 5 if I don't know. What
that
is
doesn't
wrong
make
with
any
you?
sense, Jordan.
Like, I think I yelled at him the whole drive.
You were not a happy camper
I was
at all.
just tired.
I was just super happy to be in the back seat, just kind of like.
Yeah. He drove, so.
Then we got breakfast, and then we were like, let's go to Academy. And you put Academy in your phone, and then we pulled up to an Academy dance studio.
Because I was putting Academy hit go. I go that way, and we pull up like Academy.
There's no Academy
and
here.
I was like, oh, it says Academy Dance Studio. I'm like, let's just go to the shoot.
Yeah.
It's 7 now.
So we drank a bunch of coffee and got breakfast and
Yeah, sold a bunch of merch.
sold a bunch of merch.
Shot some bows.
Yep.
Yeah,
In my defense, though, the reason that I didn't sell a bunch of merch like the first day
Yeah.
is because I was so hungover I didn't even open the booth until like 2 o'clock.
I mean, that's
We appreciate your honesty.
yeah. No, I mean, hey, look, that's part of the. I mean, BHA is a volunteer organization. You know,
Yeah.
if not, we'd have sat you down and we'd have docked your pay.
You know what's hilarious is we recorded a couple of podcasts on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And my buddy was making me drinks. And we were like in the middle of the first podcast. I was pretty sober.
Yeah.
And I handed him my glass, and everybody I'm talking to is kind of facing him. They start kind of laughing while we're recording this podcast, and I can't see him back there. And I had a 16 or a 20-ounce Yeti cup, and he filled it completely to the top in whiskey and just put a splash of Diet Coke in there. Well, instead of pouring most of it out and then putting some Diet Coke in it, I just kind of would take a drink and then add Diet Coke. But by the end of the podcast, I had drank 20 ounces of whiskey. And so
That's not how that should work.
we literally, I recorded 2 podcasts that Thursday night that just got scratched. Like,
Yeah, we've been there, done that.
We spent a full afternoon at Legal Draft starting and stopping podcasts.
Yep.
Ended up drunk. Had to scrap every second of it. There was no.
I was like, don't worry.
Nothing usable.
I
He was
will-
like, I'll edit this down
Yeah.
into something usable. Like 2 days later, he goes,
I'm
Nothing, not
2
5
hours
minutes,
into
not
editing and I
5
have like
minutes
14
of
minutes
usable
of just
content.
choppy crap.
yeah,
It's gonna be saved for content for the B side.
yeah.
B side
B-roll when we're
B-roll
done.
album.
We're throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
Like, here, you're all gonna hate us.
You
got to
put like an end of year best moments podcast.
Yeah, that's
together.
probably a good idea.
We were gonna do an April Fool's one. We
Yeah.
had a funny idea. We'll save it for next year.
Exactly. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
It's hard to get one podcast together, let alone like a fake one.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good one.
As you guys can tell, it's winging. It's all about winging it.
We're gonna do the Texas public land.
We are going to do that one.
We're
that
gonna break
one.
up all the regions and talk about hunting opportunities in each region and kind of, what's gone on in each unit. Like we're gonna break it down real hard
that's very informative.
over a multiple podcasts.
so
We're gonna
that's-
sit down like one Saturday and record them all back to back, so we have, a couple months worth of content, and so we don't lose track. Like squirrel. And,
Yeah, exactly.
The podcast is over.
Good luck.
Exactly. Everybody stay focused.
That's
No one can drink until we're into Region 6. Yeah. We'll do it at your house and just stab the table.
God, that was a podcast.
Yeah, it was a podcast.
But we ate well.
We did eat well.
We
Sous
drank a
vide
bunch,
squirrel.
too.
Yeah, we did. You drank a lot.
It was my house.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go anywhere.
I was cautious.
Jeff's going to have to stock up on the whiskey being up there in the cold north.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
You're
Yeah.
getting a St. Bernard
yeah.
with like a
With a
little.
little tiny
snuggle
barrel.
Yeah.
Whiskey run around. You remember that? That's a thing, right?
Yeah, that's a thing.
for sure.
Absolutely.
As far as Texas people are concerned, that's a
I'm
thing.
pretty sure I have to get sled dogs. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Huskies?
But yeah, to
That's-
get the kids
Huskies
to
are
school.
badass.
And,
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not
jealous
sure.
of that.
That would be pretty cool.
Does Jack Daniels just sell cases? Like,
Yeah.
just order like 15
Yeah,
bottles
Fireball.
You
All
can
at
get
a
your own
time?
barrel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you
get your own
you know how
barrel.
you get
You can get a
water
barrel.
here in the 5-gallon thing? They do Fireball up there in 5-gallon dispensers. Just to-
Fireball's
kidding?
disgusting,
Yeah.
by the way.
Fireball seems like a great way to get a hangover.
Oh, it is.
To die.
To die.
Of diabetes
It's like
and hangover.
it's like Goldschlager.
Yeah.
Ugh. Jaeger.
I can't do the
Oh,
Fireball.
my
I
God.
would much
I
rather
get
drink
sick.
Jaeger than Fireball.
I get
No,
sick thinking
sir.
of it.
Yeah.
Just
No
it's just
way.
Fireball and hot chocolate like that. If you're going sledding, snowboarding,
I
you
can
gotta
see that.
you gotta have some Fireball. It's
And hot
Yeah.
chocolate.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
can see it
That's-
mixed, but
yeah.
the
Fireball
people
and
here in
Mountain Dew.
Texas that just take shots of Fireball,
oh yeah.
I don't think I could be friends with
Sean's
those
got
people.
like a Fireball dispenser back behind
Yeah,
the
he's,
bar.
he's like,
I'm
Sean,
gonna
quiet.
protest my fifth.
No,
He
we used to have
slowly,
a.
like hides his Yeti. Like, Sean, that still smells cinnamon.
Exactly.
Sir.
What?
Dude, cinnamon is so overrated. If you don't mix sugar with cinnamon, it's just such a shitty spice.
I agree.
Everybody
I mean,
loves cinnamon.
I do like a snickerdoodle though, but I guess
Yeah, but
that's
it's
mixing
got
with sugar. It's true.
Snickerdoodle's the best cookie. No question.
I don't know. Maybe that's a podcast.
What's better?
Like a chocolate chip cookie?
I don't think so.
Because I'm an American.
I don't think so, Tim.
The jumble cookie from Pecan Lodge.
Oh,
don't
that's a
know
pretty
that.
good.
Dude, yeah. The one that's got like the pieces of pretzel, and
I know
chocolate.
that.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I've had a lot of things at Pecan Lodge. I don't know if I've had that one, but
Get
it
the
sounds
cookie
really
at
good.
Pecan Lodge. That's the best cookie out there,
Mm.
bar none.
I was floored by their fried chicken.
Fried chicken's good. Slow Bone's got good fried chicken
Yeah,
too.
they do.
Slow Bone's got a cool.
Got a nice smoky undertone to it.
Yeah. I could do that. I like fried chicken.
Who does
And
it?
barbecue.
You're a God-fearing American.
Exactly. My wife and I, we were talking about how we could move to France and just open up a brisket stand, and those people would lose their mind, I'm sure.
So, Laura and I were in Boston a couple weeks ago, and we were walking around looking for something to eat. She's like, should we try Mexican food? I said, I'm just going to pretend like you didn't say that. Like, are you kidding me?
Not even in Oklahoma do you eat
Oh.
Mexican food.
God.
Years ago, a buddy of mine went up to Washington State, and we were up on the Olympic Peninsula to go steelhead salmon fishing. Now, he grew up south of Seattle, about 30 minutes. So we go up, and we're staying in a town called Forks. And this is
Did you go on your Twilight tour while you were there?
this was pre-Twilight, so the town had not been corrupted
Okay,
yet.
you hadn't read the books yet. All right, you're
Oh yeah, I don't think the book's been written at this point. This is way back in the day.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and Forks, I don't know, maybe 2,000 people. That's maybe the metropolis of Forks is 2,000 people. And so we're cruising through, and I think the first night we ate at a Chinese/sports bar, which wasn't too bad.
You can't fuck up Chinese, really, I don't think.
Well,
Nah,
it's all frozen.
Washington's got decent Asian.
You ever
food,
had a
too.
bad pot
Yeah.
sticker?
Well, Washington's got
Never
a
had a
lot
bad
of Asians,
plastic.
so
Yes, yeah,
you
they
know it's a pretty safe bet.
I don't know if I'd go to Forks specifically
Well,
for Asian food, but
So
I couldn't believe how many
the-
Asians were in Vancouver. I think
Oh.
that whole little area up there has a lot of
BC
Asians.
or
Yeah,
yeah,
in
that's
Vancouver.
Yeah, it's like half Asian there.
Yeah.
yeah. So the second night we get off the river and it's kind of late. I'm like, I'm freaking hungry, dude. So we drive into town, and we're like, well, we went to the Chinese place already. What's this other place over here? Mexican. My buddy's like, we should go there. I'm like, no,
No.
Mm-mm.
they ain't doing it. He's like, oh, dude, it'll be all right. I'm like,
No.
I'm from Texas. You've lived in Texas for 10 years. You know this is a bad idea. So we walk in there, and this the waitress. I'm like, hey,
Hey.
straight up, how's the food? She's like, it's okay. I go, I'm from Texas. My standards are pretty high at this point. She's like, well, I used to live in Houston, and you know it's not bad. Okay, so you lived in Houston for a while. I'll take your word. Okay. And so I said, the guys in the kitchen, where are they from? Oh, they're from Mexico. I kind of look back there. Okay. We sit down. I order my food. The worst Mexican food ever. It was basically melted Velveeta with no seasoning, no spices whatsoever. And we got done. I was like, ma'am, I got to tell you, those dudes back there, they're probably from like Guatemala or something. They're not from Mexico. Because this
No.
is like the worst food I've ever had.
This is not good.
Yeah, so
This is not good at all.
so whenever somebody talks about Mexican food outside of Texas,
No
I'm
way.
like, yeah, dude. Forks, Washington,
Not it.
not it.
Yeah, I mean, we'd been eating, clam chowder and steamer clams and seafood because the ocean's right there. And she's like, let's get Mexican. I was like, no, keep walking. That's ridiculous. No way. Yeah.
Isn't it
No
funny,
Mexican.
though, how in Texas the best queso is just straight, like, Velveeta cheese and some...
Sausage.
Yeah.
Fuzzy's has that white queso.
Oh,
Dude,
that's
white
pretty
queso
good.
is so good.
It's Velveeta, chorizo, and rotel.
Rotel.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's easy.
Easy. Delicious.
People
So
eat
good.
that no matter what.
I saw a YouTube video of, like, it was entitled Texans Trying Chipotle Queso, like when Chipotle brought the queso out. It was just everyone talking shit about Chipotle's queso.
Dude, it's not very good.
Oh, it's awful.
No, you got to go to Matt's Ranchero and get the Bob Armstrong.
That
I
is
don't
some
know
good
what-
stuff.
I don't know what that means.
Oh,
It's
it's like this bowl of queso with a big
Where-
old
where,
wallop
though?
of
Where did you say?
Matt's Ranchero.
Matt's.
There's one in Austin, but there's also one over here in East Dallas.
Yeah, it
Lakewood.
used to be at Lakewood.
Used to be in Lakewood,
Now
and then
that's-
that's now Meat Casino,
Yeah.
We're
Which-
going to title this the food
which,
podcast.
which is
Yeah.
horrible.
Like we
But
said,
it's over off of
content.
Skillman now.
Hey, guys, quality.
It's on Skillman.
It's on
Okay.
Skillman. They
They-
moved
I live
like
off
a mile away.
Yeah.
I live off Skillman.
Yeah, it's South Skillman. Skillman
and
Skillman and Live Oak.
Yeah, Skillman and Live Oak, yeah. Remember the Tipperary Inn?
Yes,
Right
it's
Right over-
kind
yeah,
of,
it's right over there by
which
that.
is it's kind of catty corner north of
Or
that.
Gold Rush?
No, it's right behind Tipperary.
Yeah, it's right there.
Skillman
Yeah, it's
and
right.
Live Oak. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we're talking about Dallas, right?
We're talking about Dallas.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
Buzz Brews. You know where Buzz Brews
Yeah.
is?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a block north of Buzz Brews.
Or
Across
Institution, which is
the poorhouse.
The Poorhouse, which is awesome. And what is it? Lake Highlands, Lakewood Landing.
Lakewood
Oh,
Landing. Oh, yeah,
yes, the
absolutely.
Landing.
The Landing.
It's like right across the street from the Landing.
Which has a
Back
good
over
grilled cheese, surprisingly.
Yep.
All right,
Across the
let's pull this
street from
back.
The Landing.
Yeah, like
Let's pull it back on track. So how
Sorry.
far is your new place going to be from public land that you can hunt deer and elk, bears?
I think less than a mile. So
how much scouting have you done already?
Google Earth scouting?
Yeah.
Hours.
Hours,
Like,
just
yeah, no, it's
dropping pins.
I mean, that's like I think Idaho is something like 60 to 70%
Yeah.
public land. The mountains where I'm at, though, I mean, they're 45, 50-degree angles. They're just straight up. We're going to live, I think, at like 2,200 feet, and then they just go straight up to like 65, 700 or 7,000 square feet. So it's it's gonna be a little different. You know, last year in Colorado, I got elevation sickness, which is the first time in my life
Oh,
I'm doing that.
no.
But I just blame, living in Texas being this flatlander.
It's hard.
It's taken its toll. I mean,
I think the trick to Colorado is drinking enough whiskey that it doesn't allow you to get elevation.
you
sickness.
try that theory
I
everywhere
disagree
you
with
go.
that.
don't know if that's
I've never
correct.
gotten elevation
I
sickness.
just aspirin and water every morning. Just a shitload of water.
Yeah. It's but no, it's there's public land all over the place, and it's gonna. I mean, a lot of what you see hunting in Idaho is kind of central Idaho.
Yeah.
And I'll be hunting all over that, but locally around there, we've got some monster whitetails. Like not Texas whitetails, but they're just heavy-horned,
Yeah.
heavy-horned whitetail mountain bucks. So that'll be exciting.
I figured you'd probably spend more time mule deer hunting there.
I'm going on a pretty good mule deer hunt this year.
Yeah.
In Idaho, we're gonna film that one and hopefully get some good footage. But I'll take like a week, 10 days to do that hunt.
I'm just glad I've got somebody in Idaho that I can be like, hey.
So I was thinking about this because I've got like 56, 57 people that are supposed to come bear hunting next spring.
Yeah.
So
Something-
it's I think we should do a Texas BHA bear hunt after the rendezvous.
Deal.
And
I'm in
I'm
because
in.
I'm there next year.
because I've got so many people right now that want to go. There's no way I could just take like one-on-one. It's something where I'm probably gonna have to have a big camp. Say, all right, let's drop a
you go that way. You go
Yeah,
that
we're
way,
gonna
you
be
go
in
that
Central.
way.
We're in the mountains. Everybody go off. We'll have a good time. Party every
Yeah.
night. Test your theory on the whiskey, JT, and try to kill some bears. But yeah, that's
I'm definitely going to Rendezvous next year.
okay.
And
Sure.
I figured like start scouting for Airbnb locations in Boise and just get like a big house or something and just
Is it going to be in Boise next year? Is that what they?
I'm hoping so.
I don't. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I've not heard.
Okay.
I haven't either.
You're in the know more than I am.
Not anymore, man.
I don't know.
I'm training dogs and packing freaking enclosed
How's your dog
trailers
training
full.
going?
Yeah.
Dog training is great, man. I wish like this move is kind of right in the middle of some of his developmental time, but I got him right at 49 days and started training day 1 with him, and he's just a badass dog. The crazy thing is when you get a dog that's been bred specifically for hunting, coming from a good breeder, and you start at the 7-week mark, like the genetics that are in the dog just wake up, and you don't have to teach them things. You just have to put them in environments where they're going to naturally do what they do.
Yeah, just kind of steer them.
Yep.
More than anything.
Yep. Here's a live bird. Oh shit! I gotta lock up on. I'm on point. Oh god.
Yeah.
and they don't know why they're doing it yet, and so you just put them in those environments. And
So what kind of dog? Just to kind of.
he is
what
yeah.
kind
No, I get this question by everybody that sees him. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a Brittany or it's a spaniel. I got a small Munsterlander, which is. There's only like 15, 20 approved breeders in the U.S., but they're kind of the German version of the Brittany. But when Brittany's were introduced to the U.S., they became super popular. So did the Spaniels. The Munsterlanders stayed over in Europe, and so they've just started coming over this direction.
Okay.
So he's going to be, and the reason I went that way, I'd put deposits down 2 different times on field-bred Spaniels. And each time within a week we got pregnant with our kids. And so I'm like, all right, no more
Messing
spaniels. And I'm going to be very careful putting a deposit on a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I always wanted a pointing dog, not a flushing dog. And so, I like Brittany's, but they're a little crazy in the home. They're just a touch high strung. And so I'm sure I'm going to piss off a bunch of people talking about Brittany's.
No, dude, it's okay. Man.
Yeah. Do you have Brittany's?
Oh.
yeah, Sean's got Brittany's. Yeah.
No, dude.
But
Brittany's are horrible. No.
I've actually got a French Brittany.
Oh, okay.
So like Jeff was talking about, the American Brittany's
Yeah.
are big and hard-headed and look crazy. The French ones are a little more docile and
Yeah.
smaller, and so a little bit
And-
easier to deal with.
And I wanted a dog that was around the 50-pound mark,
Yeah.
which you don't find in the Brittany
No.
breed. So this is basically in the home they kind of turn into almost a lab, and then in the field they're a Brittany. They're badass. So
That's pretty cool.
yep.
I have a full-bred lab, and she is the laziest dog in the history of the world. Won't do anything. I will tell you one thing that I've learned from following your Instagram.
What's that?
If you ever run into a kid's playground in the middle of the woods and need that dog to go up a slide, he is trained to do that.
I mean, I live in the suburbs, so I have a green belt by my house, so I get to train him there, but we've got a park right there, so I'm just like, well,
Use it
it
as
can't,
much as possible.
yeah, just like build his confidence, and so I'll throw shit through the slides, he runs up and down slides, and he goes all over the kids' playground stuff, and no fear whatsoever, which I'm like, well, that's got to translate to the mountains.
Jumping into something.
Yeah.
Or jumping over rocks or
Yep, just,
being unseen.
so, anyways, yeah.
Well, that's
it,
cool.
It cracks me up watching him on the slides in the playground. He doesn't care. He's
No.
like, I'll go in the slide for that toy.
Yeah, he does not have any concern at all. So he's gonna be a badass dog. I'm looking forward to. I mean, primarily I want to hunt grouse. Like I grew up hunting grouse. Idaho is full of grouse, rough and blue grouse, and so you just drive the mountain roads. You'll see them standing on the road. They fly off or something like that. So we're just gonna drive around, jump out, and go hammer a bunch of grouse. But we'll do pheasant and quail as well. But yeah.
Quail. I want to try quail. That's
So good.
yeah. It's one of those species of birds that I haven't gotten a chance to really go after
Yeah.
quite yet.
We saw a ton of grouse elk hunting last year, but didn't bring any shotguns or anything. And
Yeah.
You can use your bow though, right?
yeah, but by the time we got done,
But
elk hunting-
you had a rifle with you, didn't you?
yeah. And by the time we decided to go wander around, like let's go look for some grouse. Obviously, it left.
Yeah.
Kind of like the squirrels.
You drew an elk tag in New Mexico.
Lucky bastard.
Is that in either sex or is that
Either sex.
it's the way to go?
Clearly.
Which means you
So-
won't see anything but mule deer.
Yeah.
Like last time.
Well, you saw a pretty big bull elk, but you only had a
6x6.
yeah.
He wasn't giant, but it would have eaten.
He'd have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But out of cow tag.
So how long are you gonna hunt before you shoot a cow?
I don't know. Like, what Renell and all of them always say, don't skip something on the third day that you would be love to have on the 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to come down to the moment.
Yeah. And this is archery, right? Yeah.
We get halfway into that thing, and there's a cow at 30 yards. I'm probably going to stab it. It's probably getting stuck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd rather come in with a pile of meat versus.
I'm pretty sure on day number 2 that cow presents itself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't.
I would be honest. If you see a cow elk on
Just
the first
shoot
day, you're going to be hard
So there's
pressed.
3 of us hunting. We've got 3 tags.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Oh, then they need to use their tag on the cow.
And they live there. And
Oh, yeah.
they have resident tags, which were, resident tags are much cheaper. So I'm hoping we see some cows. I'm like, shoot that.
Yeah. I'll say when I did in 2014 when I went on my limited draw Wyoming bull hunt, my buddy had a cow tag, and we never in 10 days never had an opportunity on a cow. We saw bulls every single day, multiple bulls. Never could get on a cow because the bulls just had them totally herded up and
That's a lot of eyes to sneak in on.
Yeah. But
So yeah, I'm not gonna pretend to be picky. Like, I want to kill an elk. I want to fill up some freezers.
Yeah.
So I'd clearly love to have a nice rack. Everybody would, but at the end of the day,
yeah.
Meat's a trophy.
Meat's the goal, and the experience is the goal, and if like Sean said, a couple days in, a cow walks out right there, like. Probably.
It's a 200-pound freezer trophy right there. There's nothing wrong with that.
You had a bunch of elk when you were turkey hunting over there too, right?
25 yards.
Just right in front of you.
A whole herd of them wandered in. That was in Unit 19, up there northwest of, where are we at? Taos?
We need to teach you one thing right here.
Huh.
You need to not be saying unit numbers.
We better edit that shit out right there.
I haven't succeeded, and I don't have a tag for that one, so fuck it.
Yeah.
That or you lie about the unit number.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you start talking about Texas public land? We've got stands and cameras? It's around here.
Yeah, it's close.
My duck spots?
Mm-mm.
I don't say a whole lot.
It's at Lake. It's at Lake Amistad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on that island that
It's
they
on
got
the
rid
island
of.
that they got you to remember.
Exactly.
I've been hunting White Rock a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
Greenbelt.
There's a shitload
Greenbelt
of
right
ducks
off of
out there.
Skillman and Abrams. There's
Yeah.
a toad in there. You should go check it out.
So Jeff, are there big bears right there where you are?
Yeah, there's a lot of black bears and a lot of grizzly.
Yeah.
So it's where I'm at. Unfortunately, is an area where you can't bait because they're too worried about pulling in grizzly bears. So I think I gotta go a couple hours south to do any baiting. But yeah, there'll be a lot of bear hunting.
Have
so.
you spent much time around grizzlies? Or
I mean, I've been in grizzly country. I've never seen a grizzly in the wild. I've been up in Alaska and had them like in the area where I could smell them and hear them in the brush. But this will be the first time I'm living in grizzly country. So
I've never seen a black bear. I've hunted
Oh.
British Columbia, Colorado, New Mexico.
Never seen a black bear.
Never seen a bear.
I've seen hundreds of black bears.
Yeah, I've never seen one.
Back in the day when I was young and tough, I set chokers logging on a high lead logging operation for about a year, and we'd stay in camp right up Medellin Falls in Washington State. It's like 2 or 3 miles from Canada, 2 or 3 miles from Idaho. And we'd have bears all the time, but one day we decided, well, we're bored. It's 1 o'clock. We're on a fire burn, time limit. They shut us off, so let's cook up a bunch of bacon and see if we can bring a bear into camp. So we sit here and we cook up all this bacon, and we cook all this bacon and we dump all the grease in a frying pan. We take it and we walk out to this tree that's like 150 yards away from camp. We hang it up. We get it all. We turn around and look. We're like, what the hell is that? And we look and we see a black butt hanging out of the trailer that we live in. And this freaking black bear snuck in as we walked off, and he was sitting there looking into our trailer. And we get back, and he was probably only a 120-pound black bear. But like me and my buddy, we were just idiots, and so we pulled out our lawn chairs, and this black bear hung out in camp for like an hour and a half, and he would just walk circles around us, and we sat there in lawn chairs, and I had a .22 pistol, but we're like, F the pistol. We got big old sticks, and we taped knives to the end of them, and we just sat there with these sticks,
Lord of the Flies.
and like this bear would,
I made fire!
yeah, We were so stupid. This bear would walk like within 10 yards of us and just walk by and huff and puff at us. We'd grab big rocks. We'd hit this thing with big ass rocks, and it would just like play with him, like toss him up, stand on its legs, toss him up. Oh. It was
an escaped circus bear.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So we were educating this bear the wrong way.
Maybe that was pedals before he made it to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Pedals
I
the bear.
forgot about that.
Yes.
Dude.
Oh, pedals.
Yeah. So.
So just like black bears are just kind of one of those things you're like, eh.
Yeah, black bears. I mean, granted, my dad he's killed more bears than anybody I know. He used to be Alaskan Game and Fish and all this, and so he's totally used to bears. So I kind of grew up with him. I've never killed a bear, which sucks, but that'll change soon. But my favorite memory of him is he called me on Father's Day one year, and I picked up the phone, and he's just super excited. Hey, Jeff, what you doing? I'm like, just hanging out. What are you doing? It's like, I'm up in a tree. It's like, what are you doing up in a tree? Well, I'm looking at this bear. It's like, why are you in a tree looking at a bear?
Calling me.
And he was so excited. He had this big old boar tree him, and he's sitting up in the tree. He's got his 357. He's like, I don't know, should I shoot him? And I was like, well, why don't you wait for season? And I've never seen a man get more excited to get treed by a bear. So it's we'll see what happens in Idaho.
Yeah. Not today, clown.
Yeah.
Not today.
It's really funny on that moose hunt that I was in BC. They had a grizzly like right in camp the week before I got there, and I never really even thought twice about it. Like it was probably a 60 or 75 yard walk from like where we ate dinner and stuff to like our cabin, and like it wasn't lit or anything. But I never carried a pistol with me or my bow or anything. Just kind of, I don't know if that was just me being
just ignorance.
Ignorant.
Pure
Texas
ignorance.
Like, whatever.
My first trip to Alaska visiting clients, he texted me like 2 or 3 days beforehand. He says, are you right-handed or left? And I thought he was talking about fishing poles. I'm like, well, I'm right-handed, but I fish left-handed. And he's like, oh, no, this isn't that. He's like, for your holster. I was like, holster? He's like, yeah, you don't. He has a cabin in the middle of the Kenai wilderness, and so we go up there and hang out at his cabin, and he's like, yeah, you don't step outside of the cabin without your 44 on the chest. So he had a 44 for me, and I was like, okay, yeah, we're in bear country. I get up there, and the first morning I'm there, I step outside, I brush my teeth, spit my toothpaste out, walk in, cook some eggs, walk back out. Where I spit the toothpaste out, a fresh grizzly print was right there, and I'm like, no, I'm not going out the cabin without the 44 anymore. No, so.
I'm actually looking to get a bear pistol. I'm not sure what I want though.
Honestly,
I think I want a Glock 29 10 millimeter. That's what I'm looking at. I think I would much rather have a few extra shots with a semi-auto than a revolver. I feel way more comfortable shooting like a Glock platform than a revolver.
I just picked up a 1911 and a 357 for Idaho, but then the Glock 20 is the one I want, which is 10 millimeter. But I think that's 15 rounds or 17 rounds, something like that. But it's a little smaller than I think the 29.
No, 29's a smaller one.
29's a smaller one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know my Glocks.
Yeah, well, I only know because I was looking at them the other day.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to buy one, but I don't have any hunts this year, so I don't think there's any bears
You're
here
just
in
Texas
Texas that are going to get me.
Yeah.
You didn't draw anything yet?
I didn't put in for anything.
Well, you put in for all those goat tags.
Oh, yeah, I put in for goat and sheep, but
okay.
I'm not going to draw goat and sheep
Well, shit,
tag.
you've been drawing tags left and right lately, though.
I've only drawn one. I just
Okay.
drew an elk tag.
Okay.
But it was a lucky one. It was like one of like 60 people.
Okay.
But, yeah. No, I didn't put in for anything this year. Did you put in for Idaho?
Not yet. Where I'm gonna hunt it's a guaranteed draw. That as long as Idaho has tags left, basically. So last year was the first year that Idaho sold out of deer tags and elk tags in like 20 years or something like that. So you basically just, if you're gonna hunt there, you got to buy before September. But I did put in for Wyoming, which I built 7 years of points for that, and that should be. Last year I would have been a 40% draw. This year I'm hoping it should be 100%. Last year there were some guys hanging on to big points that went in, but that should be a pretty darn good hunt. So
I would like to know where the people are getting the numbers saying how we're losing millions of hunters over the last few years.
Tags sure are more available.
Whenever every single state application Like Colorado went up 300% this year.
Yeah.
The number of applications.
Well, that's just because of the change Colorado made, though.
Yeah, but still, like every state, the application, there's more people applying every year.
Yeah.
But I think looking at, to me personally, like just looking at hunter like numbers and like people who are putting in for tags is they're not going to be synonymous with each other. I think like to be able to be somebody who's a hunter who's going to go, you know what, I'm going to go put in for Colorado this year, or I'm going to put in for Wyoming or Montana or Idaho or wherever. You're going to need to be a sophisticated hunter, right? I don't think the dude who's like, you know what, I saw Steve Rinnella's show on Netflix and I'm going to start doing this. He's not putting in for Colorado. Or he may be putting in for Colorado, but he's not putting in for Wyoming. I mean, I think he's just like, I'm just going to go hunt around here. I'm just going to be I'm just going to hunt in my area. And I think that, like, if you looked at, like, statewide levels of hunters, I mean, it's probably stagnant, if not. You know, I don't feel like we're growing at all.
I feel like all these people are watching the Hush videos and thinking if these dipshits can do it, I can too.
Oh, make hunting great again.
Hunting great again. That's true. But I mean, it's one of those things. It's just people just don't even know where to start. I think that's the way to go. You know, people just don't even know what to do or where to go. Or
and that brings up a conversation I had with another BHA member, Jarrett. You may know Jarrett, who I turkey hunted in Mexico.
Yep.
We were talking. We did a bunch of driving, and we were talking about the point system versus New Mexico. You know, doesn't have it's just a straight draw all the time. You know, residents have obviously more favor than non-res, and he says, in his opinion, he likes that better.
I 100% agree.
He
I
said
wish every state was random.
Because like for me, I've never started putting in for Idaho or Colorado or Wyoming, so I've got no points.
Idaho's the same way as Nevada, or
is it?
As New Mexico. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and he says it's for that exact reason. You know, these guys who watched the videos and shot their bow a bunch and done the research and bought a pack and done some hike the hunts and are like, all right, I'm ready to do some Western hunting. But then they're like, oh, you need 7 years worth of points to get this tag. Like, it's kind of demotivating. Yeah. And I never thought about it like that. That was a really interesting take he had. It was like, it's a straight draw for everybody. So it's like some dude is hunted for 20 years, and some dude is throwing for the first year, kind of like I have in New Mexico. You have the same odds. So
I couldn't imagine trying to start hunting as an adult.
No, I mean, you just think about all the things you know right now that you learned 20 years ago as a 12-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid. To try to, like, know how to do that now, it seems like...
nobody in my family hunts.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't grow up hunting. I grew up shooting, paper targets and, prairie dogs and whatever, but nobody hunted in my family. Yeah. So I figured all this out myself in the last 15 years.
I helped a guy this last season, 42 years old, go hunting, kill his first deer. I think he'd been pig hunting a couple times in California, never shot anything, never pulled the trigger on an animal, never gutted an animal, nothing like that. And yeah, it's overwhelming, and I think that people are self-conscious and they're scared, and the hunting community needs to realize, like, we've got to be
you can't take your knowledge
inviting and
for
inclusive.
Granted.
Yeah.
Like when we were out, me and Abe went to a thing at a buddy's lease called Hogorama this year. It's more like drink beer rama, but it's fun. And if you go early, you can shoot some pigs and you get to hang out in the woods. And it's a good time. But
it's an excuse for grown men to take four-wheelers in the woods all hours of the night
and see how many they can break. And
stuff. Exactly. But how deep can I get into mud?
I always go early and shoot some pigs, and every year without fail, there's guys who show up with their guns and all their camo, and you're hunting box stands and shooting pigs. So you can wear shorts and flip-flops, so it doesn't matter. But they shoot these pigs, they hang them on their cleaning station in the racks, and without fail every year, it's like, oh, you're going to cut those up? Nah, man, we don't want them. And every year, you can see it on their faces. It's not that they don't want them. they don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
Like they've never cut up an animal, but the machismo and the I'm a dude, they don't want to ask for help. So every year I grab my knives and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna cut this up. You want to help? And everybody's like, yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah.
And the mood changes completely. So this year for 3 or 4 dudes, I basically gave a pig cutting up 101. Afterwards, they're like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, we'll take. And they immediately took all their meat and put it in their coolers. But initially, they're like, oh no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to ask for help. That sucks. Because I mean, I was probably in the same boat. But luckily I had people like these guys on this lease who are older guys, and hey, let me help you do that, because they've probably seen the same thing.
We need more of that right there.
That's exactly what needs to happen.
That's what BHA needs to embrace, and I think they do a good job of that. But
we're planning a thing to go shoot a bunch of pigs. I've got a buddy who owns a restaurant. He's going to let us do a butchering demo and completely make sausage, and people who sign up will get a pig.
Nice. And
leave with sausage and cuts.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
So,
sign me up. I want to go.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to learn how to cook wild pigs. Because
I'm
guilty.
talk to me about that. But
hey, I'm guilty of just shooting them and not doing anything with them.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
I have nothing against that either. If
Yeah.
I shoot a pig and it runs in a thicket, I'm like, no, I'm gonna go eat breakfast.
Yeah. Too many snakes, ticks, and freaking everything else is
Yeah.
going to try to bite and kill you in Texas. But no, I mean there's so many wild pigs. It's the one species that you can look at and just say, yeah, these things are causing mass devastation to farmlands, and it's fine to shoot them and kill them, or shoot them and just leave them. Granted, I've got a freezer full of wild pig meat, so
They're so good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
That podcast we did at my house.
Yep.
I made 2-3 sheets of pig lasagna.
Mm.
You know, and it's delicious. Nobody would ever know.
Yeah.
Next time my dad says, hey, I don't eat wild game. I don't like it. I'm like, you've either never had it or it's been shitty. Like it hadn't been
piss
cooked
poor
right. So next time he's in town, I'll make a big pan of this, and he's like, "This is delicious." I'm like, "Yeah, that's wild game."
That's wild game.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the so I play fantasy baseball, but it's real excuse to just cook a bunch of stuff and have a bunch of people over. And we did brisket. We did neck tacos, deer neck tacos. I did venison pastrami, and I did 2 wild pigs cooked on a smoker whole
You shot
hog.
at a hogorama.
Yep, shot.
No, it was before.
Before hogorama, but right.
That's it.
And I had people from work who are just straight corporate, shirt and tie, not like go home and they don't even do the outdoors.
They're the middle ground between us and the New Jersey cat lady.
Exactly. They don't have anything wrong with it. They don't do that. But these people, I mean, I had people coming up to me and they're just like, how is this so good? How is this so good? It's like, you just take care of it and you do it the right way. You cook it the right way. Those wild pigs, I've done it 2 years now. The first year we were like 3 hours behind, as happens when you smoke whole hogs on a smoker. And these people were like hovered around as we were cutting it up. And they were just like ravenous. They were like, this is like the best. This is the best pig, like pork I've ever had. I'm like, that's wild pig.
That's when I learned you own no sharp utensils.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
I have a knife problem.
I will say that, like, in the last 5 to 10 years, I feel like the hunting industry, social media, the Ranellas, like, everything has been trending towards, making wild game a whole lot better to eat, and coming up with recipes and treating wild game meat with the respect it deserves. I mean, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I remember eating deer roast that was just so dry, you just choke the stuff down. And I think a lot of people have had 1 or 2 of those experiences, and that stops them from even considering hunting. Like, oh yeah, I had venison once, it tastes like shit.
Or they just have sausage. They just have venison sausage.
Yeah.
It's just all sausage, or it's jerky, sausage or jerky.
No, when growing up, that's all we would get.
Yeah,
we would get
that's
breakfast sausage and jerky. It's like, I don't even eat breakfast sausage.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think, like you said, there's a division of like the committed hunting community where there is a very wide gulf that's forming of people who are ambassadors, who anyone can get behind, no matter where they come from, and be like, I don't like it, but that's an okay thing for me.
Yep.
And then there's people on the other side that you're just like, you're doing that. You lend credence to you just kill because you want to kill something. And that's the part where I'm just like, I can't be a part of that at all. Like, I like killing things. I like eating things, though. That's the most important thing to me. And to be able to go out and harvest meat like that naturally, and just like I look at my freezer and it's a good feeling for me, you
Yeah.
know, to know that I went out and I did everything from start to finish myself, you know.
I think it changed me when I got a family, and my wife started having a few health issues, and I realized like, oh, I can go out and actually do what I love to do, and provide them with protein and substance that's far better than anything you can get at the dang grocery store, and do it myself, control the process. Like for me, that kind of sparked a whole new side to hunting, and I think that's probably the last 10 years. That's where my passion really became alive.
I think a lot of it's a maturity issue too. Like,
Sure.
because I can look back on, hunting 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, compared to now, and like both my high school and college graduation took trips to Africa.
Yeah.
And killed a bunch of stuff over there. And like now I have zero desire to go over there. Like I think I'm about to sell all my skulls and stuff just because like they're literally not even in my house. Like they've been in my attic for 8 years.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm going to sell them and put that money towards another hunt of some sort, here. But it's like, back then, dude, I was obsessed. Like I would watch those hunting videos, all them plains game animals coming into water. And like I knew they were high fence hunts, but which, I mean, they're big high fence
That's the
properties.
thing. Well, like at some point, a high fence place in Africa, you're like, oh, this is a 40,000 acre high fenced ranch. That's not really like that's the natural range of an animal is like 4,000 acres. This is 40,000. You still like that's the thing. I think people lose sight of it, that the animal can roam within the fence the entire time. Within its natural,
its natural range.
Its natural range where it would only go if there were no fences and still not hit a fence.
Exactly.
And
it makes it
you know what I've always thought was kind of funny is I'm not a big high fence guy anymore.
Yeah.
Definitely used to hunt them. Really don't care to hunt them anymore. But a lot of guys out west just talk complete shit about high fence. Make fun of Texas, how we are here. But then you look, and in Utah, like the highest, the mule deer tag that brings the most money in the whole state is an island.
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference between an island and a high fence? They can't get off of it. I mean, they can swim, but
it's going to take something very big for them to swim.
It's going to take a huge thing for them to swim.
No.
Yeah. So it's like they talk crap about a high fence, but then we're paying $300,000 for a tag on an island.
Yep.
I have zero problem with it. It's just one of those things I just personally am not. I mean,
I've got friends whose families have ranches down the valley, and I could shoot a couple deer every year and pull a couple doe and fill a freezer. But I don't blow up social media talking about this hunt.
That's it.
It's
right?
going to get groceries. I sit there and drink coffee in the mornings, drink beers in the afternoon. We cut up these deer, put them in coolers. We have a great time. We drink nice wine. We come back. It's a great time. My girlfriend killed her first deer there this year. It's a great experience for her to get, to hunt, but not under the conditions of with a backpack for 7 days, not showering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now she's like super into it, and she duck hunted with me after that. Which is definitely harder conditions than sitting in a box stand. But it's a stepping stone, I think.
In my opinion, that's the biggest thing, and I think Ranella talked about it the other day. Like, if you're going to hunt a high fence, but don't make it look like you weren't hunting a high fence.
Yeah,
like, don't leave parts of the
Don't get your
story.
grip and grin like, man, got the big one. Like, no,
don't.
I did 6 days.
208-inch whitetail,
like I bet within 5 minutes that feeder spinning he did show up because that's dinner.
Yeah, like don't leave part of the story out when you're sharing on social
That's
media.
the thing.
Yeah.
I think Ranella said, like, if you're having to leave something out to make yourself feel better, then maybe you should think about that hunt you're doing before you do it.
Yeah. Like I posted me cutting up the meat and butchering out. So I brought home her buck, my doe, and half a nilgai on that trip. So I had every Yeti I had full. So I spent a week, and I ended up hanging. We dry aged a bunch of it because I didn't have time to butcher it all. Because I like to do it all myself. And I posted a bunch of pictures of butchering it, and we did the dry aging. We made some videos cutting up the dry age stuff. I think that's the best way to use it. Like, informative on how to butcher it and how to cook it. But I wasn't just like, man, this is a hell of a hunt. Like, no, it wasn't. Like,
I had Wi-Fi in the stand.
Yeah, it was literally. She had a picture. She had a picture of me. There's a big stands, and so her, my buddy's cousin, who was kind of with us, and then I'm sitting in the corner, and I had a work fire, so I'm on my laptop in a deer stand, and they're looking for him, and she took a picture of me looking like an asshole. I was like, I'm not taking credit for this.
Yeah, I'm not
getting groceries.
Yeah,
I'm playing Clash of Clans at the grocery store. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I have no problem with it. Ben O'Brien did the whole podcast.
Keep it at face value.
Yeah, well, Ben O'Brien did the whole podcast with like the grip and grins and how he doesn't think that we should be doing grip and grins anymore.
He just posted a grip and he called it a grip and grimace though. So.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with it, but I also think that the guys that post pictures of the 300-inch deer grip and grins, I think those hurt hunting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with grip and grins, but tell the whole story.
Well, and you look at a 300-inch whitetail off one of these ranches, and you go, "That's a mutant."
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, unless you're in Alberta, Canada.
Your big ass elk you took last year, you deserve a grip and grin for that. You worked for it.
Yeah, that's not a
like. If I get an elk this year, there will be a whole shitload of grip and grins, like self-admittedly. But it's it's gonna be done in the backcountry, the real way. There's no fences involved. Like I worked for it.
And the 300-inch whitetail, it's cool. But you're exactly right. Don't act like it is a public lands or a free range animal. Yeah. Just call it what it is.
Call it what it is.
Call it what and take pride in it. There's nothing like fine.
Groceries.
You paid $150,000 for that. That's cool, man. I'm happy for you. Genuinely happy for you.
Should have bought a house, but
you
bought a
If you can afford it, you probably own multiple homes.
Exactly.
It's no big deal, but don't compare that to the 8-point that a 15-year-old killed for.
Exactly.
On his dad's ranch.
Or the 6-point that I shot on public land that I hunted, 40 days for.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a whole other ballgame.
Yep.
Completely.
So, I don't know. Maybe we just sound self-righteous. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. I think it's.
What are we, Sean? Are we self-righteous? Yeah. What do you think, buddy?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm sitting there looking, and there's a whole bunch of grip and grins behind the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are.
I mean, it's part of it. I mean, and there's a lot of permit up there. And believe me, I catch a permit, I'm taking a picture of it.
Hell yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You take pictures of what you're.
But you also I can guarantee you all those pictures on that wall. You didn't have those fish in a 100 square foot little tank that you caught out of,
Well, I will say there are a couple bass over there that came from private lakes.
Well,
which is basically the high Vince version.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's what I was about to say too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's with me. I've been fortunate enough to go fish some private ranches out west. That you're catching a 24, 25-inch rainbow, 30-inch brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 0 pictures of those because I caught one. The guy next to me caught one. The guy across the dinner caught one. I'm like, yeah, dude.
There was no skill involved. You didn't.
No, it was like, okay, everybody caught one. It's no big deal. But my little bitty, my first permit I caught, not a big one. It's probably about a 15, 17-pound permit. But believe me, dude, I got a picture of that guy.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Hell yeah.
4 years in the process, and that was my highlight of my career at that point.
Yep.
So grip and grin was cool, but I know I will say that when you do see the big monster mutant whitetail freak, and you're like, yeah, okay, so I'm glad you took the ear tag out of it.
Yeah.
I can still see the hole.
Yeah.
But
just like Abe was saying, a little 6-point public land. Yeah, dude, that's
awesome.
an accomplishment.
Like I still haven't killed a whitetail on our public land up here that we've been hunting.
Yep.
And I guarantee there's gonna be a shitload of grip and grins for that thing too.
Oh my God.
Work for it. We've done
that's a lot of work.
So much hiking, and so much paddling, so much checking cameras.
I've almost died
stands.
once trying to hunt that.
You and
I think at the
don't
end
get a
of
hunting buddy who's 6 foot.
Ruined a phone and lost some binoculars.
But my take on the grip and grins is that if you're gonna do the grip and grin, respect the animal.
Exactly.
When you see freaking it's all bloody and everything, and you're sitting there
tongues
holding
hanging
it
out.
up. I'm like, come on, man. It's take some paper towels, clean up the wound, or at least make it to where you can't see that.
Yep.
Stick the
Yeah.
tongue back in its mouth.
Or cut the
Exactly.
damn thing off.
Yeah.
It's almost easier than fighting it falling out.
Yeah,
Just cut
exactly.
it
Put
off.
it in your cooler. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
put it in your
delicious.
They're
cooler and
delicious.
eat
You
the
know,
darn
tongues are
thing.
good.
Respect the animal if you're
Yeah.
going to do that, because that's just, as hunters in general, that helps us all. And
Yeah.
in my side, on the fishing side, we're starting to see a move away from a lot of the grip and grins up out of the water. They're
Yeah.
starting to, guys are starting to, they're starting to do the pictures with the fish still in the water.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Especially like with big tarpon. That's the
Yeah.
thing is like Florida, you can't take a tarpon out of the water unless
Hmm.
you have a tag, which is like $400, and most people are like, I don't want a tarpon tag because I don't want to,
Yeah.
just take this thing out of the water. So you're seeing big tarpon guys jumping in the water, getting the picture of that. I saw a really cool one the other day. A guy caught a really nice largemouth, and what he'd done, he'd actually gone underwater, and he was like a good 2 feet underwater holding the largemouth.
That
Yeah.
is
His
cool.
buddy took the picture.
That's cool.
And I was like, that's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty cool picture.
So,
Yeah.
I know grip and grins and fishing in the hunting world are totally different things because,
I don't think so. I
we
think
let
there's
ours
some
go.
similarities.
And you
Yeah.
know, okay. So, but yeah, just respect the
I don't
animals is the
Yeah,
biggest
I
thing.
think it's respect.
I
That's the
I
whole.
fillet and release too. Yeah, I get it.
Filet and release.
So-
Well, I'm also the first to admit that, catch and release is still a blood sport.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Sure.
To think that every fish that you catch and let goes and swims and has a happy life.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
woo,
no.
dodged the bullet there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that.
I've trout fished broken bow a lot, and after a busy weekend, there's a lot of floating trout.
Oh,
That you
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
We're
The eagles
clearly
up there
released.
are just
Yeah.
well,
sitting there
they're well
waiting.
fed.
It's,
Yeah.
it's not all unicorns and lollipops,
No,
dude.
no.
Shit dies.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You're if you're gonna be a part of this, if you're gonna be somebody who sources their own food, you're gonna be a part of the death cycle.
Oh,
If
totally.
you're not able to be a part of that, then fine.
You
But don't act self-righteous because you go and
There's
pull
no food that
hamburger
is-
meat
that
out of a cooler
that doesn't have
from
blood on it.
No, exactly.
No food.
But I think what's more annoying than the over dramatic and grip and grins are the deer stand selfies.
Oh, good lord. I
We're
will
guilty of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We're
most
gu-
of the
we're
time
guilty
it's
of those.
me
Deer
being
stand
hung over
selfies,
in a stand.
which is
just
like,
uh,
well, I suck at hunting, but here's a selfie of me in
yeah,
the deer
check
blind.
it out.
That means we were bored as shit.
Check out my face paint. It's
Yeah.
the best ever.
You would cringe if you saw a video I have on YouTube of me trout fishing this little pond up in Colorado. Because I'm a bass fisherman, so like I'll catch a trout, just grab it, unhook it, and toss it back in the water.
That's fine. Man.
I have
That's no big
I
deal.
have more hateful comments on that
it's-
YouTube
what are
video
you doing?
about how
So-
I'm killing every trout that I catch.
This is along those same lines. So there's a rather famous fly fisherman. I don't know how famous, but anyway, he was caught on social media with a big brown trout that had obviously been on its red and spawning, and he got such hate mail for it. And basically, he's a Colorado guy that went to Wyoming, caught this big brown trout. And yeah, he come to find out he had not gotten his license. He was gonna got there early. He's like, well, we'll just buy it this afternoon. Well, another local guide saw him, called the game warden. I can't defend the whole, yeah, dude, you
Yeah.
were fishing without a license, but the hate mail that he got for fishing for this big brown trout. Well, let's back up a little bit. There's no such thing as native brown trout in the United States.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're an invasive species, if you want to get right down
Yeah.
to it. They're all imported from Europe.
Yep.
So, we're kind of joking, we need to make stickers that say, save the natives, kill browns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these people, it's funny how people
How
put
dare
certain
you.
fish on a pedestal.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
look at the same way with ungulates.
So
and bear
so the
and-
whole thing, it's like people, up in Oklahoma talk about, oh, you got to do all this stuff for the trout.
they stock those twice a week.
Dude, those trout are not native to Oklahoma.
No.
So I'm like, whatever, dude. You want to keep trout? Psh, that's fine with me.
I keep every time
So-
I'm broken, but I keep my limit. I still got some in
Yeah.
the freezer.
Well, you know
They,
what?
They eat good.
I kind of got in an argument on Facebook with some guys the other day. I guess they caught some guy down in Austin cheating in kayak tournaments.
Yes, I saw that.
He was
Cutting
in the notes. He was in the notes today.
So
Cutting the tails off of one fish and putting his hand so
Yeah.
you couldn't see it. Yeah.
So I've always thought that it was the stupidest thing in the entire world to have a photo fish tournament. Because I've caught some fish that they may be a certain length, but, I've caught other fish that are shorter that are way bigger,
Yeah.
heavier.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, there's the whole length girth measurement system, It's rarely right, and there's just so much room for guys to cheat.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they don't just put a stringer behind a kayak. Everybody gets one fish. If you decide to put that one fish on a stringer, that is your fish.
Well, I think it kind of goes along with, like BASS, that, you've got the live well and a dead fish counts against you. Well, you take a bass, put it on a stringer, and tow it behind your kayak for the next 8 hours. That's going to be a dead bass back there. So.
Yeah, but you don't have to do the dead fish penalty in a kayak tournament. I mean,
well, but I think it's the whole thing
people lose
is
their
that
minds about killing bass.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
I everybody's
posted
allowed.
a picture of some of them laid up on my Yeti, of all in limit, like all size, like they were all legit bass, and I cut up and ate them.
But that was my point.
And
it's like
people lost their minds.
everyone in that tournament could legit keep 5 bass in most lakes.
Right.
So what is it really gonna hurt that lake?
Probably
for
do
everybody to keep
the
one fish?
lake of service.
Yeah,
You know?
Like,
not people. They don't cull enough bass.
it's
especially
literally
a lot
not
of
gonna
private lakes.
hurt anything.
No.
Right.
And it's
Not
going to
really
keep
big.
people from
Well,
cheating, but people
something
freak
that-
out about stuff like
something
that.
that does help. So, like Lake Fork, there's a fly fishing tourney out there, and there's a photo tournament. And what the photo tourneys do is that you have a lake with a slot limit. So now you're allowed one fish over 20, or they got to be under 14. Well, you're catching a bunch of 18s and 20s. Well, now you can take those photos. So on a slot lake, yeah, the photo tourney actually makes sense because now you're actually counting your fish, So
Yeah.
I can see it on that point. But, I mean, you're right. You could definitely keep 5 fish. Biologists say, yeah, everybody can take 5 fish out of that fish per day, out of that lake every day. So, yeah, you kind of got a point.
Or just make some floating laundry basket live wells to pull behind
There you go.
Like that would be
Yeah.
super easy.
There
Put a
you
pool
go.
noodle. Put a pool noodle
That's a
on
hell of
the
an idea.
Just like
laundry
a-
basket. Put a top somehow on it.
I'm not dragging a laundry basket behind me in a kayak, though.
My kayak's already dragging an anchor
We
through the
don't want.
water.
We're not going to talk about our kayak. Sean will have an aneurysm.
Sean will have an aneurysm.
I've seen the pictures of your kayak. And
Hey, you know what? It works great.
that's
does.
cool, man. If it gets you on the water and fishing, more
And-
power to you.
Yep.
I'm not going to fish out of it, but
No.
that's what you want.
But I was
Have you seen it?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was an eye roll if I've ever seen one. Yeah, you know what? I took a $300 kayak and $200 kayak and
Added another 300 to
added
it.
another
so just buy a
$300 to
nicer
it.
kayak.
You know, and I'm putting a trolling motor on it next. I'm not sure where it needs to go in the front or the back for weight distribution, but
So much shit on
I know
All right.
exactly. My wife shits on me for it now. She's like, "Why didn't you just get another one?" I'm like, "Well, because
You
I
told
didn't
me
want
not
to spend
to spend any money."
$500 on a kayak."
Yeah, at this point, you're just like
I know. I get it.
protecting your honor.
At this point, I'm just like, you know what? This is my blue kayak. I love this blue kayak.
At some point,
And
I
it-
will own one of those Diablos.
Yeah, I want one of
I'm
those
right
really
there
bad.
with you. We were just
Yeah.
Could be tonight.
I know it won't be
Exactly.
tonight, but I will own one.
Tell you what, if you put $2,000 down on a raffle ticket, I bet you could win one. I bet Sean will make that happen for you.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
I
it,
can make you a raffle ticket.
it's funny because I have a 21-foot bass boat. I have a Skeeter with a 225 on the back, but the problem is,
How the hell did I not know this?
you know that,
Thanks for the invite, man.
didn't
yeah,
know that
I
either.
have a bass boat. The problem is,
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
my bass boat is
Buddy.
at my shop, which is 30 minutes from my house.
Oh, that's so fun.
There
And
you go.
anytime I want
You
to
can
go
store it at
fishing
my
on the
house.
weekend, like I would have to hook it up when I leave work, find somewhere to park it by my house in my neighborhood.
Oh man.
Like I can't just
First world
go.
problems.
God, this is yeah.
Must be
God, that's the
miserable.
worst.
Feeling really sorry
God.
for you.
No,
I
we
tell
need
you what,
another
I'll
beer,
take
I
your
feel
bass
so bad.
boat. I'll figure out how to get it to Idaho. Don't even worry about it.
No, the problem is I can't just like on a whim go fish, one afternoon. Like I can't at noon decide, hey, I think I want to go fish for a few hours this afternoon. Which like Lake Worth is literally 10 minutes from me. Like if I had a kayak, I could be there in 10 minutes. I
Yeah.
could store the kayak at my house. Like
Throw in the truck. Yeah.
that's the problem with a bass boat is like from my work, it's literally an hour and a half drive to any lake I want to fish.
Yeah.
Like, and so, I think it'd be fun to go downtown Fort Worth, like the Trinity River on a kayak and just stuff like that.
There's
So,
some
Oh
good-
yeah, duck
there's some-
hunting, Adam, is fun.
Yeah.
I bet.
I'm gonna paint mine so it's not blue for duck season this year.
Yes, you are.
But I've got stabilizers, which I was fishing and
my
boats were
God.
zooming by me, and I was just like,
Bring it on.
Nah,
You
I
know
was
what?
like,
You're
it's not even
fast, but I'm
tiki.
stable.
I mean, you're stable too.
you're stable
I
too.
built mine.
But you paid for your stability.
Exactly. My stability is adjustable.
God.
Dude, I've got the reverse polarity switch. It came in the mail, and I'm going to be able to control my kayak with the trolling motor with a remote control. So, yeah, I know.
Good for you, man.
I've
Exactly.
got to say, this is possibly the most off-the-wall podcast I've recorded.
Welcome to Stormwater
Oh,
Creek.
Yeah.
This is nothing.
It's
another
went
day,
from
another dollar.
everything.
Nothing.
It's went from everything to
Yeah.
Jeff moving to restaurants in Dallas
To
that no one
Y100
knows
recruitment
of
is
except
low.
for y'all.
This is nothing.
Killing bass in a tournament.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a wild one.
Just for the guy who's mowing your yard right now, you're welcome.
Exactly.
That's what we do it for.
We're the Everyman podcast.
Exactly.
Oh, well, Jeff, we're going to miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
Big
Oh,
time.
I'll be back.
We'll have to
You
come
know.
see you.
Yeah,
You'll have to come
exactly.
down
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I've
I
got
know.
a spare bedroom anytime you want to come.
Oh, yeah. And the same.
How far are you from Boise?
I'm a ways.
Okay.
I'm north. I'm a long ways north, like 6 hours. But
Say we were gonna, just come stay at your house for rendezvous.
yeah, that would be a bit of a commute.
Or you could stay at. We're gonna Airbnb it.
Oh,
so
yeah. No,
we'll
I'll
have
be
it'll be like a frat house.
Yeah,
for
it'll be-
4 days. in
It'll be fun.
Idaho.
But I'm dead serious. We need
Like
to
Gogorama.
plan out that the Texas BHA bear hunt after
No
rendezvous.
question.
That
would
needs to go on the
be
books. Too sweet.
that would be badass. I can do a lot of the
So much
legwork
fun.
for that.
I think you have 4 people who are pretty committed to doing that right now.
Yeah.
uh,
I'll connect with the Idaho BHA chapter. We'll get some of those guys
Yes.
involved. It would be.
They can
pretty-
guide Texas people, and then we'll take them out and go pig hunting.
There you go.
I'm
Yep.
pretty sure I won't be getting invited on any hush hunts anytime soon.
Yeah, way to blow that.
You probably
sponsorship.
blew that out of the water a
Yeah.
while ago.
Exactly.
Oh, good Lord. All right, guys.
Yeah, let's wrap this up
Well,
so we can hang out with Bynum. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're not already, you should come down to the Pint Night at Tailwaters.
We're here.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. It's
All right,
already
everybody.
happened.
Thanks
was
for
fun.
listening.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
times.
Go subscribe to the Stormwater Creek podcast.
And
Subscribe to the Hook and Arrow podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember, if you want to hear a fart once a week, listen to Stormwater Creek. If you want to hear good stuff, listen to Hook and Arrow.
By the way, I think I'm getting it started back up. Gonna have a new
Sweet.
co-host
Oof.
because Rackley is too busy to actually do these on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But I will have him on some just
He
when
will
we
be there.
can.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully the next podcast after this one that I post will reveal the new host and co-host, and he's a really good bass fisherman too. So
Dum, dum, dum.
There we go.
I'm waiting with baby.
I can't
breath.
wait.
Yep.
all right, guys.
Peace.
See y'all in
later.
Idaho.